We'll now hear from our panelists uh, to deep down into the challenges and discuss the potential paths forward. Before that, I'd like to request our session chairman, ACR Das ji, to give his few insights about the topic. Sir. Yeah, yeah.
Hello. Good evening. The topic of the session, as the moderators have mentioned, is on challenges. And with regard to certain things like quality, approvals, logistics, export, market, I wish, which in my heart, I wish we could have included the CO2 emission, I think, which is the biggest issue and challenge for the steel sector for survival, and the current market conditions. In fact, yesterday night, we are having a program, I think a dinner hosted by IFA, and whomsoever I met, almost you can say 100% people are very much concerned about the today's market conditions, including large-scale import from China, and not only import. I think import is also coming from Japan and Korea. I think we are not so much concerned about that because that is at a price which is not killing us. But the Chinese import are really killing us, and that was one of the biggest concerns. Anyway, we'll be discussing that probably in separate session. But coming to the today's, I think the present topic, I think we all know that we are the second largest producer, and we produce about 144 million ton steel. And coming to finished steel product, it is about 140 million ton. Of that, 76 or 77% is long product, and which is a topic of discussion just now. And out of that long product, I think you all know that almost 60% or more than 60% is produced by the so-called secondary steel sector, although I don't like this term to be mentioned, but we are all mentioning, and I am continuing with the term. So the contribution of secondary steel sector, or I should call them mini steel sector, is tremendous. And in the years to come, if you see the product profile of the expansion of the integrated steel plants or so-called primary producers, you will find that their main emphasis is flat product. So I personally feel the future, the dependence on the secondary sector in respect of long product is going to continue. So I see a future for this sector. Now coming to the specific topics, see, first is of course quality standards, and quality control order is one of the important issue. I think I am not the person, although I worked for a few years in BIS, but the custodian in this country for formulation of this standard is the BIS, as also for quality certification. And let me tell you one thing, because there are a lot of friends from the secondary steel sector. I happen to be a member, even today, after retirement from the Ministry of Steel, of the MTD and CED of BIS. These are the technical committees who formulate this standard. And if you see, it is majority of the people are from the primary steel sector. Please don't, if there is some primary product, please don't take otherwise. But this is a fact. They are the people, it is they who decide your fate or the secondary steel sector fate, without realizing what is the reality, or because of vested interest. Please excuse me for using this term. So it is really a very serious matter, and I have been telling this thing to Kamal Agrawal ji and the previous presidents. Please strengthen yourself, and your representation must be there in the BIS technical committee so that you are heard there, your problems are resolved, and you get a standard which is meeting your requirements rather than the integrated steel plant. So this is point number one I wanted to mention. Now, coming to the certification aspect. Now, the quality control order. In fact, somebody was telling me, Das Saab to purane papi hai. Because the quality control order, fortunately or unfortunately, was introduced by me. Not that me, it is the system was that, because the secretary and the Ramvilas Paswan, the then minister, called me and told, "Ye kya hota hai? Kya kar sakte hain?" So that was the beginning. And of course, I issued the order, that is as per the decision of the top brasses. But there was a lot of hue and cry at that point of time. Kamal ji, if he is here, he will realize, वो मेरे पास सुबह से शाम तक इसी बात के लिए लड़ाई करते थे. But today, I think, if whatever I know, these things have changed. There's a lot of improvement in the quality of the secondary steel sector, and many people have got, in fact, not many, most of them have got the certification from BIS. This is a very encouraging development as far as I can see. I am no more in the decision-making levels. I am there definitely in the BIS, but the laid down procedure is such that there are problems. In fact, if you see today and if you see in 2012 when the quality control order was issued, there was a hell of a problem in getting the license, BIS license. I have been continuously working with BIS, whether it is standard formulation. Earlier, there was only one meeting in BIS per year for MTD4. Today, during my time, there are 4 to 5 meetings per year. So that's how we try to improve on the quality, the formulation of the standards. Even in the certification level, there was a lot of hurdles at BIS level, whether it is for domestic sales or it is for import. So in fact, with the help of the industry, associations, we have been taking up the matter with the BIS, and problems have been resolved. Many problems have been resolved, but it is, yes, it is always an ongoing process, and I hope in years to come this will be improved. Now, coming to the third issue, which is secondary sector related particularly, there are two standards. One is 1786, which is basically for TMT bar or Torres steel we call, and the other is 2062, which is for structurals, including light structurals. These standards, I think IFA people will say, there were only few grades before the quality control order was issued. After that, because of the requirements of the industry, particularly the secondary steel sector, we have not only changed or added more grades, but also we have made one more standard where people cannot meet the quality requirements or stringent quality requirement for 2062 or 1786. There was a new standard made during my tenure, and that was basic for for meeting the, I should say, not substandard material, but basically for less critical applications. So that these three standards are the really backbone or most important thing for the secondary steel sector. I am of the very, very firm opinion that quality must be maintained. I think many speakers in the morning session also mentioned, without quality we cannot survive. And I am also very happy, if you remember, there were guidelines from the main purchasers of steel in the public sector that we shall purchase steel only from the primary sector or from the integrated steel plant, etc., etc. After the quality control order is issued, and we had taken up with this industry, even at the minister level, our minister wrote to the ministers of the concerned ministry, this is not fair. Now the products are covered in the quality control order, this should be withdrawn, and you should only give one condition, that the product should meet the standard. What is the criteria for the integrated plant also? So this was done for many users, and or I think not 100%, but yes, this had given a good result. But recently I read an article which says that NTPC, I think, they have basically blacklisted few producers from the industry. And I talked to one of the friend who happened to be my basically fellow alumni from IIT Kanpur. He told me that there are a lot of problems with regard to quality. In fact, this is the issue, at least I don't support. We have to produce quality, and we have to, so that ultimately the steel is going for infrastructure, the steel is going for housing, the steel is going for building. So let us supply, let us stick to quality, let us be responsible for the people, the public. And of course, the other two subjects which is mentioned in the topic, one is the logistics. Madam Aruna Sharma talked about how to reduce the cost of logistics. That is a big hurdle. और ये आज की नहीं है. जब मैं स्टील मिनिस्ट्री था तब भी मेरे पास लोग आते थे कि भाई हमारे cost of logistics is too high. It is almost 1.5 times than the world. So
sir, we are falling short of time. So yeah.
So just I'm finishing. This is my last point. So this was there in the past. It is there in the present. But as Madam Sharma told, it is really being addressed to some extent and will be addressed in years to come with a lot of development. And Gati Shakti is one of the issue which will take care of a lot of hurdles in this area. So export, I think this is an issue. If we want to export, our export is hardly less than 1 million ton. And if you see the CBAM, our export to Europe is how much? 3% or 4%. So we should not bother, it is my opinion, I think you may not agree. We should not bother about export, we should bother about more about domestic consumption, and which is growing and will grow, and I think there is a good future for this sector. Thank you.
Thank you, thanks a lot.